Our next session is going to be on mastering the change, driving digital continuity and the innovation change. And we've got two wonderful speakers coming in here, Tom David from Dassault Systèmes and Andreas WANK. Please, join us. I'll give this to you. Thank you.
So, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Tom David Graupner. I'm the sales director for Enovia and NetWipes, working in the Euro-Central region. And it's a pleasure to me to introduce Andreas WANK, the PLM program lead at Pepperl+Fuchs. We met 2 years ago approximately, right, for the very first time in the context of the benchmark. Yes. And now you are here again on stage. We are very curious to learn where you are and what are your plans to climb the mountain. Yes. Thank you, Andreas.
Okay. Yes, David, thank you very much, and thank you very much for the invitation. And yes, Björn, I also brought my mountain with me, but the Himalaya was a little bit too dangerous for us. Therefore, I just take the Yagi horn from the Switzerland, but it's also quite high enough for us. So, yeah, I would like to give you some insights into our digital transformation of our innovation chain. And we are doing this by implementing a PLM approach into our innovation chain. And this picture represents quite good our PLM journey. So we started with some kind of a shaking suspension bridge, and it took some efforts for us to take the first step, as PLM is a professional management approach. It was really a quite new approach for us. But we did it, and we also had some kind of backwards during the validation phase. We also had some kind of sideways during the implementation phase. And now we're trying to climb up towards the PLM true north. And yeah, and you also see a quote from our CEO, Dr. Kegel, who said, "Never before have so many people from Pepperl+Fuchs innovation area worked together on a project like this." And I think this shows the strategic relevance of this transformation project. Before I come to the PLM project, I just want to say some words to the company with the funny name Pepperl+Fuchs. So who are we? And not only the US have garage of success stories, we also started our company in a garage with the maintenance of radios around about 80 years ago. And now we're a little bit bigger. And we've around about 6,400 employees worldwide. We're a global company. We have a huge product portfolio with around about 50,000 products. And with a turnover of around about 840 million euros, and we are completely family-owned. And what are we doing? So we are a leading provider of factory and process automation, and our focus is on sensor technology and intrinsic safety, so especially the explosion protection. And this may sound a little bit abstract, so that's why I brought an example with me. So what are we doing? This is, for example, a 2D LiDAR scanner, and this is a product we're producing with around about 7 PCBAs included, each PCBA with embedded software, firmware, hardware. And on top of it, there's a rotating unit, 360 degrees, with the LiDAR scanner. And we are delivering the hardware, and our customers bringing the use cases, and the use cases are more or less unlimited. So for example, for the 2000, there could be the automation of logistics, so an automated measurement of freights and volumes. Or it could also be the maintenance of tunnel systems. So there the R2000 is on a vehicle driving through a tunnel. Then you have a 3D point cloud, and then you can see finest cracks on the surface walls, dirt, and then you can manage some kind of demand-oriented maintenance. And there you can also see on this example that the intersection between mechanic, electronic, and software is getting more and more important, also in combination with the regulations in the explosion protection area, or also in the functional safety, for example. And I want to start my presentation concerning PLM with more a strategic level, and then I will come back very soon to the concrete. And of course, we will also deliver hardware in the future. The future is data-driven, and therefore we have to think about how we can manage to create additional customer value with our data. And therefore there are enough ideas, and we have the picture in the future like Lego bricks, putting the payment model, the business application, and the digital twin together, and then we have our business model. But most of all these ideas fail right now because of the integration costs, and this is exactly the part in the middle, the intermediate term. So we have to think about how we can reduce the integration costs and how we can share data with our customers, suppliers, and partners. And there are some initiatives like Manufacturing X who think about some kind of federative data spaces where we can share data in a very good and data sovereignty work modus. But to reach this, we have to do our homework, and this is a short term. We have to lift digitalization, and we also have to redefine the business processes and all the information flow. And this is what we are starting right now. And these are the two major building blocks of our PLM program. So on the first hand, we want to better digitalize the existing workflows, like gaining efficiency, transparency, and quality. But we are quite sure that the long-term benefits will outweigh the internal ones. And therefore, we think about how we can make the infrastructure for the future, how we can support new digital data-driven business model in the future. And these are the two parts. And I would like to focus on the first one, and then I will also have some insights into the second part as soon as we have enough time. Okay, so unfortunately, I don't have such a kind simulation as Björn had with this train, but this is exactly a familiar picture for us. So this is where we start from. What was PLM again? And we really work in data silos. So you can see the product development process, and there are a lot of gates, and to each gate we are producing a lot of documents. And as soon as we have these data in the documents, they are lost. The next department is coming, taking out the data, bringing to the next system, and therefore really have a lot of efforts to bring the data from one data silo into the next one. And we won't be able to reach any future data-driven business models if we take on with this working. And therefore, what is PLM? We really want to enable the collaboration. We want to break up the data silos along the innovation chain. And therefore, the clear focus is the data management for our PLM program. So PLM should be the single source of truth of all product design and product type data. But of course, we also take a look to all the authoring systems and see if they are future-proven, and there also be replacements or maybe some changes. And this was quite important for us from the beginning on. So PLM is not just a software project, it's really a management approach, and therefore we also have to redefine the business processes, and to enable collaboration, the information flow and the business processes have to be synchronized, and this is exactly the management approach. We tried to communicate from the beginning on, and this is our PLM journey in a nutshell. So we started our PLM program 2022 with the so-called initialization phase, where we shaped our PLM approach. We involved 17 departments along the whole innovation chain. Around about 200 colleagues were actively working in our teams. And we also selected a PLM vendor. This was our first contact at the end of the initialization phase. Difficult word, sorry. And then in the next year, we started this validation phase, because the decision for a PLM vendor is, of course, a decision for decades, and therefore really tested the platform. We bring our colleagues into the system. They tested around about 600 user stories. And in the end, we had our famous point of no return, and we were sure that Dassault is the right partner for us also in the future. And we started the implementation phase. This was last year, where we redefined the business processes and where we also tried to implement an end-to-end process. And from this year on, we are in the rollout phase, and we start to roll out our platform company-wide. So quite exciting time, and the bad news is I cannot go very deeply in each phase because we don't have so much time. But the good news is I have some overviews prepared, and I will start with the first two phases, but I will focus on the implementation phase and the rollout phase. So this was our first work package we have executed in the first year, and this was everything independent from a PLM vendor. So we thought about our PLM scope and our target picture, including the executive, the management, as well as the experts. And on the second work package, we analyzed the as-is IT landscape. So we really brought 17 departments on one table, and we asked them, so, okay, how do you do it today? So what is the information flow for variant management, for example? How is the information flow for EBOM, for example? And the workshops were quite good in finding pain points. So they have identified around about 700 pain points along 24 domains. But it was not so good in defining a common information flow because the way of working was quite different in 17 departments, as you can assume. And we also identified around about 130 different software tools along the innovation chain. And there you can really see we are working in data silos. And therefore, it was a good approach to do it model-based, this information flow analysis. So now if you want to replace a software system, we can directly see what kind of information flows are linked and which department will be affected. Based on this, we made our technical concepts. We thought about the PLM capabilities we do need in the futures. 28 we have identified. We detailed it with use cases and features, and this was the basis for a two-stage vendor selection process. And as you can assume, we have decided us for Dassault System with the 3DXperience platform. And this was our second tier, the validation phase. So really, we're able to directly define user stories you want to test, and you can see all the work streams we have defined. So I think we had run about 8 work streams in the end, and we brought 200 colleagues into a public cloud tenant of the 3DXperience platform, and they really tested all the user stories in 8 months. As we did this in an agile manner, and we have a lot of parallel teams, we also thought about a methodology, how we can assure that every team is going the same direction. And for this, we introduced the OKR methodology for the goal management and the progress measurement. And we have some kind of a hierarchy. And for each hierarchy, we define the objectives to say where we want to go and the key results, how we want to reach it. This was more or less the beginning part, and now it's getting more exciting as we are going into the implementation phase. And this was our main to-dos of last year. And first of all, we tried to create some kind of a target picture. And we want to introduce or implement an end-to-end process from manufacturing, from concept to manufacturing preparation. And this was more or less the picture from the beginning on. So, of course, it always starts with the product concept, where you have to define the requirements. Then it goes over to the product design phase, where we have the engineering bill of material. So we try to get a holistic bill of material, where also MCAD, ECAD, and softwares are directly linked towards it. Then we have the manufacturing preparation phase with the manufacturing view, the manufacturing bill of material, and also the process planning and the work instructions. Work instructions are included, and really tried to implement a digital continuity from the beginning until the manufacturing preparation. And cross to it, there are topics like product portfolio management, like the variant management, engineering change management, and of course, the compliance and the document management. And this was the task of our topics, to create such an end-to-end process last year. And this year, we also go one step further. So we are also introducing an MES software from Dassault as well, the Apriso. And therefore, we also want to get the connection between manufacturing preparation into manufacturing and backwards. So this is the scope of this year, concept to manufacturing. But last year, it was from concept to manufacturing preparation. And this is a very high-level overview. And you can assume how many sub-processes are involved. And this was really the key challenge of last year, that we have to gain expertise in a lot of different topics. And that was necessary to define an overall target picture in the end. And if you take a look to our project plan, so please try to understand the content. It's just to illustrate how we organized ourselves last years. So you can see we have a lot of work streams in parallel, always with a to-be process phase and then the MVP phase, where they try to implement a part of the business processes. And you can see this was version 32. So we drive every external partner crazy with our project plan, also the Dassault colleagues. But I really think it was the right approach, because we need expertise in every of these fields. Otherwise, we won't be able to create any kind of target picture in the end. And if we take a look to the mood, so we are tracking the mood concerning PLM. So this was the start November 2022, with around about 4.1. So the scale is of 1 to 5. So 5 is the best value. So I would say we had a good start. Then in the validation phase, we had 3.6. So we had some troubles with our CAD system, the connection to the PLM platform. The mood was not the best then, but then it raised up, and we started the motivated team in April 24 into the implementation phase. But here you can see we really had the first little valley of tiers. So 2.8 is not bad, it's better than 2.5 as the middle. But it's not the approach we want to follow. And this was the problem. It was like the hamster in the wheel, because every topic was waiting on decisions of the other topic. And therefore, we had some kind of disorientation. And therefore, what have we done? So we booked a hotel for 1 week, and we brought all of our topic leads into this hotel from Monday to Friday. And we really discussed the open issues in a round with 35 people roundabout. And we said, okay, now we really have to transform all the open issues into decisions. And if the uncertainty is too high, we need some kind of working hypothesis. And with the guideline, fail fast and start before you are ready, because we cannot decide everything with certain right now. So we have uncertainty, but we have to start to make decisions. And this was the task. And in the end, we had around about 70 decisions within this week generated, and therefore we could raise the mood up again to 3.6. So in the beginning of this year, we also have the mood of around about 4 once again, and therefore this was a really critical part, I would say, last year, to start this decision process, to really drive an active decision making. And so the colleagues were quite exhausted after this week, talking about issues 1 week with a group of 30, but in the end, it was a successful week. Okay, so now coming to the rollout phase. Sorry, I brought a lot of slides with me. Hopefully you can just follow me. And to explain the procedure of our rollout phase, you have to understand our PLM IT architecture. And we are using 4 different layers to categorize our PLM IT architecture. So you can see the authoring layer, and these are all the tools that create data, like an MCAD system, an ECAD system. Then we have the TDM layer, the team data management layer. This is the level where we want to manage data from the authoring tools. And then we have the PLM layer, and this is really the linkage of all the topics and domains over the innovation chain. And of course, we also have our supply chain level, and these are the efficient interface to supply chain, like the ERP system, the CRM system, or the MES system. And the scope of this year is the TDM management level. So really want to bring data into the platform. And therefore, these are so-called topic-specific rollouts. So we have identified some product groups. And this is the scope of this year. And we are preparing a cross-topic rollout for next year. And this is really on this PLM level afterwards. And to go a little bit more in detail, you can see some of our IT tool chain. So you see the authoring and TDM level once again, and this is the scope. So we are starting with the topics of MCAD, data management. So there we have CATIA as authoring tools. We also changed our MCAD system. We have ECAD, so there we have a third-party tool with ORCAD from Cadence. We have, for requirements management, we are using CATIA Magic in the future to define our requirements. The management of the requirements will be on the 3DX platform, and then we also have the topic components, and this is really the idea to bring data into the PLM platform and to scale it in the upcoming years. And for next year, we are coming to the cross-topic rollouts. Now it's a very complex picture once again. So here we also want to add the topic software and parameter management. So there we are also working with external tools. And these are all the topics that also comes into the place when we want to go to the PLM level and connect the different top departments we have, like engineering change management, product portfolio management, document management, engineering BOM, manufacturing BOM, process planning and work instructions, and variant management. So this is the big scope for next year, and we have already identified 2 product groups for which we want to roll out this cross-topic rollout next year. And one important part is also this one here, so the magic triangle between PLM, ERP, and MES. And therefore, as last year, the functional implementation was in scope, this year it changes concerning transition, migration, integration, as well as organizational change management. And these are the main parts of this year, so I could make a presentation for each of these topics. So transition, as you know, mean that we have an idea of the future IT landscape, and we define some kind of operational concept with different phases, how we reach this final IT landscape with coexistence, data sovereignty, so we want to bring out the bill of material from the ERP system into the PLM system, for example. Integration, of course, means the seamless information flow between the different systems. And topic migration, of course, the initial data transfer, because we have a lot of legacy data, as I've mentioned, around about 50,000 active products. And yeah, so the technical concepts can be good as they are, but the topic is the people have to live it. And therefore, we also tried to bring the organizational change management in a very early stage in the project as well. And we also created our own organizational change management house, like Share PLM this morning. And so we have different levels. So for example, the control level. So we monitor the mood. So we make regularly meetings, sounding boards, town hall meetings. And therefore, always in the end, we do make some kind of a little survey. And we can also see what are the mood on specific locations, for example. We have 3 major columns: the communication, learning, and support. So communication was the most important thing in the last 2 years or 3 years. And now the topic learning and support is getting more and more crucial. And of course, we have the roof with the vision, the benefits, the impact, and the risks. And this was also very a point we have to learn, that a lot of people are not very interested in the benefits. They just want to know what's the impact on me. How does it change my daily work? And we try to reach this with some kind of instruments. And I also brought one example with me, so you don't have to understand the slide once again, just to give you an illustration. As we are now implemented a lot of things, we are now able to also quantify the benefits for specific business roles. So this is a very easy use case. So I want to replace a THT with an SMD component during the development phase of the product. So just changing a electronic component from a PCBA. And this is a very easy use case because we're in the development phase. But to realize such a use case, the colleagues already had to use 8 different tools. And we had 12 manual interactions where we bring one data from one system into the other system. And in the future, and we also make some kind of small videos for our colleagues, they all can have some kind of look and feel. It will change, so we just have 2 systems, and it's the PLM platform, it's ORCAD. ORCAD is our authoring system for ECAD, for example, and there's a direct connection, so you can even start ORCAD from the PLM platform if you want to do it, and therefore really have directly an improvement of around about a tool reduction of 6 of 15 improvements of this. And now we are more and more able to also quantify the benefits of the PLM system. And this was a quite good situation for us from the beginning on, because our CEO said we need this, otherwise we won't be able to offer any kind of data-driven business model in the future. So we don't have to to quantify KPIs in the beginning, but now we are able to do it as we have the implementations, and we can really make a before and afterwards comparison. So now I want to come to the second part, and I will do it very shortly because my time is almost over. And this is this part, supporting new digital data-driven business model. I just want to give you some ideas how we want to approach it. So it's less the concrete data-driven business model, it's more the infrastructure, how we want to get the basis to reach it. And if you want to start such a discussion, of course, you need to take a look to the corporate level, one step higher than PLM. And this won't be the best solution, or this would be some kind of an integration hell, I would say, so to offer any digital customer use case. And therefore, you need any kind of industry standard, and we really focus on the so-called asset administration shell as our foundation of a digital twin in the future. And the big advantage is that there are software structures standardized, integrations are standardized, as well as the semantics. And there's also a very powerful association, it's the Industrial Digital Twin Association, where Dassault is also part of it, and they really push forward submodels. They are defining how a digital product passport has to look like, what digital nameplate have to look like, and this is our way we want to go. And the last slide, very shortly, so we want to reach this, we have to also take a look to our IT infrastructure. And we implemented years ago some kind of a graph database where we want to connect all the different databases we have. And there's also some discussions with Dassault right now, how we can integrate the 3DXperience platform that should be able to import, export this AAS as well, but also should be open to be connected to a Crave database, for example. And then we have some kind of different layers. There's a standardization layer, a modeling layer to generate AAS on demand. And then we have a lot of different ideas how we can offer interfaces to our customers, also with this Manufacturing X initiative in the background. Okay, this was a very short overview with a lot of information for you. So hopefully you get a good impression of what we are doing. So please don't hesitate to contact me afterwards. And yeah, thank you very much for listening.
What was the most challenging part so far? Understanding the license model?
Oh, yeah.
Or the contracting with Dassault?
It's still the most critical part.
The deployment of the SaaS platform?
Yeah, so this was also a very interesting
Or
fact.
booking the flight to Den Haag?
Yeah.
And the management is listening to you.
Yeah. So you have seen the picture, and there was some cloudy. That's because we decided to go on the cloud, and this was a decision that needs around about 12 months. So it was really hard discussions in our company that we want to put our R&D data into a cloud system because everything is in our on-prem solution right now. And therefore, this in combination with all the license topics we had was a quite challenge. But I would say so far, the critical part was last year to make these decisions. And this is also for rollout phase right now because we have to start somewhere and he has to make some decisions like what is the design state or also how to release things. And they are making the basis and the other colleagues who are coming on a later stage have to work with it.